Hey everyone, I've been trying to record my gameplay more and more recently so I can watch it back and learn from it and try to improve. And my guild killed council last night while I was recording for the first time. So this is something I would have watched myself anyway, so I figured what the heck, I might as well commentate over it while I'm doing it and maybe someone else can benefit from it as well. Because I feel like I have a lot of knowledge about the fight now, so I want to try to explain what we did and why we chose to do it that way. So like the title suggests, this is from a ranged DPS POV, specifically Fire Mage, but there aren't that many fire specific points to touch on really. I just want to go over the fight as a whole, but I will mention anything that pertains to fire specifically. That being said, I am by no means the perfect player, and this was only our first kill after all. This happened to be one of my weaker pulls DPS wise, unfortunately, but I mean, that's the way it goes, and we got the kill, so that's what matters. So let's get into it. So right away, you'll see we choose to go Frida first. So I'll talk about that later. But so right off the bat here, we do a 13-second pull for one of our Disc Priest. We actually killed this on our 101st pull. So if I scrolled up, you would see it says like details says you have 100 wipes in this encounter. So right away, you'll see I click on Frida and I focus her. So she has 5 cast, or there's a 5 cast kick rotation that we use. I'm assigned to the 3rd kick. So for that, I use a set focus at mouse over macro combined with a counter spell focus macro. So that way I can just focus Frida throughout the fight and I can kick her no matter what I'm actually targeting or killing at the time. So that's the way I choose to handle it. So I focus Frida, and be ready to pull. Flash my talents and stats there. Pretty simple single target setup. Um, Flame patch is kind of patty. If you have it on farm, you can go flame patch for like kind of pad your damage, but we need all the single target damage we could get, so definitely conflag. 224 eye level with the solo igniter and DPS badge, and I only have 3 sockets because I just unlocked them, so unlucky.
5, 4,
So right away on pull
3,
here, we
2,
use our first DPS
1.
pots here, as the first phase is kind of a DPS check you have to hit. So it's just your Garden Variety single target combust here. First Nancy Fevers come out. We cover this with a link and an AMZ. We just have everybody jump. We have one of our healers calling out who to jump and when to jump. So he pretty much carried this fight. He was super good about that the whole fight. So there's times when we have everybody stacked up like this, and it's really easy to just have everybody jump. And there's other times when we're moving at the same time, so we can call just like one person to jump, 2 people to jump, or like wait. You have 30 seconds to clear all your stacks, so we can kind of stagger it if we have to. But for this first one, everyone's stacked, so it's really easy to just drop AMZ and Link and have everybody jump. Um, so you'll see this weak aura here with the numbers. Keeps track of the kicks, and as I said, I'm kicking the 3rd one. So first attendant comes out, and I can't quite get a full combust into the boss before the attendant puts the shield on, so I just switch to shifting power here. Because this is the first attendant, nothing's really happening in the fight yet, so everyone's kind of on their A game right now, and the attendant dies super fast. So I just shifting power, it'll hit the attendant, and then once the attendant dies, it'll hit the boss as well, so maybe not optimal, but this is what I do. So attendant dies, back on Frida, and then you'll see the 3 flashing. This is my kick next, but it's interrupted by a Drain Essence, so there's actually a bit of a delay before I have to get it. So I get my kick, and we get our first recital. We choose to do a stutter stepping circle around the bosses with the recital. This keeps everybody in range of the boss to hit to DPS almost fully. As a ranged player, I can pretty much only just scorch, so you'll see me scorching as I do my dance. Everyone who didn't get it takes 1 step to the left. And actually, what we should be doing more optimally is taking kind of like a 45-degree angle left, because when we go straight left, sometimes Stavros is doing his lunge and we can get clipped. So you'll see me make that optimization later in the fight, but it's not the biggest deal. Just a short, grouped up stutter stepping walk around the bosses. And we come back and hit Frida. So the DPS that I mentioned in this phase is you want to phase Frida before the 2nd attendant. Otherwise, it just gets super hectic. And with where we are in progression, when we're this close to a kill, 100 pulls in, if we would have got the 2nd attendant, we would just wipe it immediately because it's not really worth us progressing further when it's been scuffed like that. And funny enough, we had both of our Holy Paladins, Lancy and Raven, because this was our 101st pull overall, but on this particular night, it was only like our pull 11 or 12. So for the first like 90 pulls of progression, they were both Kyrian. And actually, literally just today, like the day of the kill, swapped event there for the Ashen Hollow. So they're both like we're now in 12 or something. It's kind of funny, but um, because of that, we have a lot more damage than I was used to or we were used to. And not to like use it as an excuse, but it means that we phase Frida so fast that she's in a different spot in her kick rotation than I'm used to. So you'll see that kind of throw me off for a second after the dance, but it's not the biggest deal. Um, so we phase her easily before there's a 10, and you'll see it pop up for just a second on the right here. And I walk up to squeeze out any little extra bit of damage I can on Frida because she takes full damage until she's actually in her spot. And as a mage with 2 blinks and soul shape, I'm not worried about getting to my light no matter where it is, so I can run up and try to eke out a little extra damage and try and find my light. Basic dance here, 6 moves on Mythic obviously. And we have to remember when we come back we had that attendant pretty much on the green marker right when we get back that we have to kill, so just be ready for that. It's easy dance, 6 moves, and we get back to X. Let's kill his attendant. My kick is first. Like I said, normally when we were phasing slower, my kick would have been last phase. But now that we phase so quickly with the 2 Ashen Hollows, I actually have the first kick of this phase. So kill attendant, get the kick, and back on Frida. We have a Link and an AMZ here to cover these Dancing Fevers.
Left.
Don't get this dance, so I go left. Enough. And we're just killing Frida here. This is a Drain Essence now, so my kick won't be delayed. It'll be 2 and then 3 right away, so something to watch for. This is the 2 kick, which we get, and this will be my kick right away. See me turn my camera trying to find the attendant. There it is. Switch to it and kill it. So we get another recital here before we phase.
Left.
Don't get this one, so I go left. You see me take that kind of diagonal left so I don't get clipped with a potential lunge. It's a barrier and AMZ for these recitals. We have everybody jump. Frida dies, and we move on to Stavros. We kill Frida first because her after image, so in Mythic, like they come back and respawn as a ghost after you kill them, and hers is the easiest to deal with. It just, all it does is come back and try to get off 3 casts of its cast there. So we had a 5 kick rotation in phase 1, so 4 and 5 kicks kind of just fall off and we just stick with 1, 2, and 3. So I still have the 3rd kick throughout the rest of the fight. So you'll see me getting those. Let's move on to Stavros. Full combust here. Pretty simple. Too big here. And then Frida comes back. So if Frida comes back, you'll see me move over to my boss frames and focus it. This fight, overall, it's kind of like a UI check, honestly. Like there's DPS check bosses, there's heal check bosses. This boss more than anything is literally a UI check. Later in the fight, there gets to be so many mobs and so many different things and so many different nameplates that if you don't have a good UI, it just gets to be so hectic. So like your boss frames have to be on point and like your nameplates will have to be really clean. Or it just gets to be such a mess. So you'll see me go over, I focus Frida, so I can get my focus interrupt to actually kick her. So I have Frida on focus, and we're about to get a recital here soon. This recital is a weird overlap for me where we get the recital as I need to kick. So I don't want to be caught in the middle of a fireball caster when I have to move and kick. So I kind of switch to Scorch here for a second so I can kind of assess where I need to move and get my kick.
Left.
So I switch to Scorch. I don't get the dance. I move left, get my kick, and we're back on Stavros. We make an audible here in phase 2 to take the recitals straight to the right to green rather than around the boss. The reason for that is when the dancers fall from the sky, they will pick a random player to fall on, and if we have recital people going around in front of the boss, they could potentially get picked, and if the dancers fall in the front of the room, it's really hard to have a safe spot to go to do the next Dancing Fevers and when when everyone's running around because they have to dodge dancers and whatnot. So we have everybody stay in kind of this middle quadrant by having the recitals go straight to the right. That way we guarantee the front of the room will be clear. So as soon as the dancers fall, you'll see us move to star. So the dancers fall in the middle, we move to star, the front of the room is super clear. So we stack here to get our next dancing fevers. And I don't know what it is about us moving to star in this way, kind of behind the bosses, but 9 times out of 10 we were able to get this attendant to spawn at the far side of the room there. Which is nice, it makes it really easy to see and to swap to, you don't have to turn around or anything. So that was good. See an AMZ go up, we do the dancing fevers here. So this is AMZ and a big spirit shell, so we'd had a spirit shell and an AMZ, so we just called like one person to jump. And then as the link goes down, we have everybody else jump. And that's, again, one thing that one of our healers was calling. He did a really good job of that in the fight. So the dancers are gone. We move back to X. Frida comes back, so I focus here. Get ready for my kick. And here we came back to X, and Stavros is a little higher than I was comfortable with, so I choose to combust here. It ends up it's not like a good overall DPS play, but as you'll see in the next phase, we end up holding damage anyway. So I chose to do a little bit more damage here when it matters, rather than what would have been more overall damage in the second phase when it doesn't really matter because we're holding damage anyway. So this isn't going to look good on the meters, but this is a choice that I made just to phase Stavros that a little bit quicker. So you'll see my kick coming up. So I get my kick. And that combust that I mentioned that I chose to do. Feels kind of cringe, but I think that was the play. Shifting power here to try to get combust back. These gateways always freak me out. I'm worried about like taking one during the dance, but I don't think I ever did that during progression, so let's worry about nothing. So come back and back on Stavros. This is where I would have had combust if I didn't use it before, but we don't need the damage this phase anyway, so get the lines here. We still go straight to the right here because we want to bait the dancers in the middle of the room. And we said that if we get to green too quickly, we would just curl up since we're going to star anyway, so that works out nicely. We have Dancing Fevers applied right now, and our Disc Priest calls that he has a big Spirit Shell, so we have like one person jump as we're moving to star, and everybody else waits. Move to green, swap to the Attendant. I can pretty much just scorch as I'm moving, so we curl up to star. We had one person jump in the Spirit Shell, and then we wait to get stacked up. AMZ link go down, and then everybody else jumps. Frida's back, so I focus here and get ready for my kick. Just combust into Stavros. See, I actually hold my combust to ensure I get my kick first, because I don't want to like fat finger my kick during combust or something stupid, so just being extra safe. Bust into Stavros, and we go back to X. Attendant comes out, swap to the Attendant. So we get one more recital here. This one goes to green, as we do during this phase. This is a recital and a Dancing Fever. I don't get it, so I go left. This is again the situation where we call that we have a Spirit Chill out, so we have one person jump here. And then everyone else waits until we get back over on star and stacked up. Frida's back again, so you'll see me focus here and get ready for my kick. Focus Frida, and we go back to star. Barrier goes down, AMZ goes down, and everybody jumps. So I get my kick, and this is where we're stopping on Stavros. This is why I said that we didn't really need my full combust in this phase, because we're holding damage anyway. The reason we hold damage is because you want to phase Stavros at a very particular point when certain criteria have been met. So firstly, what needs to happen is we need to be back on X. To be back on X, we need these dancers to be gone. So we have to wait till these dancers are gone. We have to get back to X. Also, we're getting an attendant soon, so we want to wait till this attendant spawns. Because if we kill Stavros now, the attendant will come out and put the shield on Niklaus, and we lose a lot of uptime that way. So we also, you'll see me soon pop a health stone and a health pot. I think I use both here because we have those pre-assigned to this phase in particular, almost as like a DPS or an HPS throughput cooldown, because we're deliberately in this phase longer than we should be. You'll see we're already at 8 stacks of the atmosphere. So this is where we have pre-assigned times to, if you get even a little bit low, just rip a health pot and a health stone. Because we're in this phase longer than we want to be. So we're just hitting waiters here, doing whatever we can that isn't killing Stavros until its attendant spawns. So the attendant's up, so I move back to X and kill the attendant. So attendant dies, and then we kill Stavros, Lust, and blow up Niklaus. Lust, and we hit Niklaus. So the targets we choose to damage in phase 3 is we Lust and hit Niklaus for as long as we can. When the Goliath drops in, we swap to the Goliath. When the attendant drops in, we swap to the attendant. And then after that attendant, we just go back on boss. If the Goliath's still up, it just gets passively cleaved down. So you'll see us hitting boss here. Want to get him as low as possible. We're about to get Castellan's Cadre, which is Goliath, so I alter. Get knocked back, alter back. Frida's back, so I have to focus here and get ready for my kick. And attendant's about to spawn as well. So here we're hitting Stone Guard as long as we can. Got him kind of low, not as low as we could have, but it should be fine. And the attendant's up. So now attendant's top priority, and I have to get my kick. So I kick Frida and kill the attendant. So this is where we made the swap to after this attendant. We go straight to boss and not Stone Guard anymore. Stone Guard will die to passive cleave, so we're just all into boss here.
Left.
Get a recital, I don't get it, I go left. And then here we're back to our phase 1 strat of the circler on the boss, which keeps melee and range to damage for as long as possible. Their attendant coming, it's behind us. Swap to that attendant and kill it. This was such a clean pull with no death. So far we still have 2 battle reses. As you can see, that we actually have to hold damage again here for a second. So let's talk about why we're doing that. Frida's back, so I focus her. And we're holding for a second. Holding. And we phase as I get my kick. So the reason we waited is because unlike the waiters and the attendants, the Stone Guard, when the Stone Guard spawns, if you phase the boss with a Stone Guard up, it just gets stunned in place and just sits there. Rather than destroying your tanks as it normally does, it just sits there stunned, essentially. So what we wanted to do there was we were waiting for the second Stone Guard to drop in before we phased Niklaus, so we can kill the Stone Guard during the dance, which pretty much just removes it from the fight and makes it a non-factor. So my light spawns in Temecula, unfortunately, so I can't hit the Stone Guard during this phase, which also doesn't help DPS, but it's not the biggest deal. We have plenty of people that are able to hit it, so we'll see everybody up in this area just whacking down the Stone Guard. So that'll be dead by the time we get out of the dance, which is super nice. So nice easy dance, and then we have our second battle pots to carry the rest of the fight here when we get back. So just gateway back. We get back on Niklaus. So we're about to get an attendant, so I'm holding combust till after the attendant dies. I get the Dancy Fever, so I get told to jump, so I jump. I'm a little late swapping this attendant, but attendant dies.
Left.
Don't get the dance, so I'm free to combust into Niklaus. We're not killing any more Stone Guards, so that's the fight. They just get kited. So Frida's back, so I have to focus her, and I have to kill the attendant. Kill the attendant. Get my kick on Frida. I'm about to get a cadre. By altar, Goliath comes down, altar back, and hit Niklaus. So this is a
Right.
tough overlap here. So Stone Guard's out, the boss is up, the attendant's out, and we have a dance. So I get the recital, so it's just a dancer on the boss, and I swap to the attendant and hit it as much as I can. Scorching the attendant as best I can. Tank goes down, but we get him up. The tank deaths are just going to happen in this phase, so we're prepared. Barrier and AMZ to cover these Dancing Fevers, and you'll see our DH Birdie just jump out and start running for his life, cutting away the Stone Guard. Farida's back up, so I have to focus her and get ready for my kick. There's my kick, and we're just hitting Niklaus. This should be the last attendant of the fight that spawns. Kill this attendant, Birdie jumps and starts his run, running for his life. He dies, but we knew that was going to happen, so we have a really quick res. This is the last rough overlap where we get the next Stoneborn to drop in, which is a knockback as we get a recital. So we're not going to be stacked up to do the dance like we would like to. So this is kind of just personal responsibility at this point. Everyone just lives it on their own. I don't get it this pull, as you'll see, but this is where I would just probably block it if I did get it, just because it's such a mess just to live it. So we get knocked as we get a recital, and everyone just has to live. Finish off the boss. Dies. That's my little half-ass celebration you hear. That's the product of being excited while also trying not to wake up my whole house as it was pretty late in the night. But yeah, if you made it this far, I hope you found some value in this video. Hopefully you learned something about the fight, maybe what we did or why we did it, and good luck on your council prog.